A very good evening to everybody. And as we wait for more people to stream in, I would like to welcome you warmly to Biz Hot Seat, the number one podcast where we interview business professionals. And where what we are going to do is we're going to go over the shoulder and find out what makes their business ticks and what are some of the secrets that we can learn from them and we can dig out and really apply in our respective businesses. Hi, my name is Eugene the SEO King and I'm one of the co-hosts, and today we have with us our life coach, which is my other co-host of this podcast, Charlene. And if you missed the first episode, you can watch it on bizhotseat.com. That's our YouTube channel. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Charlene to the show. Welcome, Charlene. Hi,
Hi, thank.
Charlene.
Hi, Eugene. Hi, all the audience around. I'm happy to be here once again. Yeah.
Yes, very nice. And yes, we have my good friend Anson from Us Training that is tuning in. Anson runs his own training company that specializes in digital marketing and some of the soft skill sets. And Anson himself has his own signature leadership program. So if you're interested, you can just engage with him on Facebook, right? Welcome, Anson, and thanks for your support. Right, Charlene. Yes, now you are in the hot seat, and we're putting you in a hot seat because you are a life coach, and also because there is a lot of misconception about life coaching, right? And in fact, I myself also have certain misconceptions, right? So we will attempt to address and clear some of these misconceptions that we have, right? And I think it's very real, right? So I think what we want to address is the most important thing. What is your inspiration behind, do you wake up one morning and say, no, hey, I want to be a life coach, and that's why you are.
I think I address a question, thank you for bringing this up about the misconception. Indeed, it is actually quite cluttered right now in the industry, right? I wouldn't call it a misconception. Well, I would like to invite all the audience over here. Let's just put all the perspective and put all the things you have heard, or maybe you have experienced good or bad coaches before. Let's put that aside, right? Treat this as a learning sessions from a perspective from a coach that I have been in the industry for the last 6 years, right? So Eugene, you asked me the questions about, did I just wake up one day and, oh my God, this is it. This is my,
Yes.
the next thing to do. This is the in and hot things, right? And indeed, in the coaching industry, in the last 3 years, it has been booming. Mental wellness has been on the, on the hot seat actually, and a lot of people are really burnout, stressed out, and all these things. And mental well-being, it has been in a spotlight where a lot of people are seeking help, right? But that doesn't mean that prior to the pandemic, the people are not needing to seek help. In fact, the coaching has been around for many decades, and for me myself, I didn't go into coaching for wanting to be a coach. So I think back in 2018, right? And this is a little bit of backstory about myself, yeah. Um, I had a lot of communication issue with people and a lot
Mm.
of relationship with people, including at home and also at work, right? So there's this question that I keep asking myself: how come I cannot speak fluently to people as and when in the way that I like, in a way that shows how I speak, right? So I was observing my coaches back then, and what I realized is, hey, they actually have something that I don't have. I don't know what. And then I decided maybe it's good time to, learn some coaching skill to see if I can um, overcome that fear of speaking and communicating, and also building good relationship with people, which has been kind of haunting me for many years, right? So I went on, and what I realized after the entire course for about 2 years was that is a tool that I've acquired, and it will be very selfish of me if I don't use the tool to help people. And I started to plan for this path, and then I started to coach more people, and the more people that I coach, and it has becoming like more and more meaningful, because I'm helping people to find out what is actually um, their resistance, basically, in terms of achieving the goals that they want, right? It can be in relationship goal, financial goal, or maybe even a small a health goal, right? There's three things I always say that we all human beings want in life. One is money, right? I'll be really direct. The second one is love. You're going to be in good relationship with people. And the third one is health. Or probably a lot of people see health first, right? So there's no like which one come first. It's always these three things that a lot of us always want. But there's also a lot of us having this resistance of like, getting a good health, getting a good finances, and also getting a good better relationship with people. So I help people in this aspect to really find out what is actually stopping them, and also journeying with them in the transformation journey to really sort out what actually stopping them and deal with that. And then these are probably may have heard people saying that, this is my old shit, this is my pattern, this is my old habit, and I have these kind of things like keep on bugging me. I don't know why I cannot work on my goal. And these are the things that I'm working with people in the life coaching setting, because I teach people how to deal with that. It is indeed a life skill. Sometimes because of upbringing, culture, or religion, whatever reason, we may not know what is the right way for each and every one of us, because each and every one of us is unique. So in the life coaching setting, I work with people in that so that they can, you know, know a little bit more about themselves and know what to do with themselves, and then subsequently also achieving their goals, right? Essentially, I bring people through a transformative journey to the next stage in their life. Yeah, that's in short.
That's very, very interesting and very insightful, right,
Mm,
Charlene? And really, being a coach really takes up a lot of energy, right? So right
mm.
now, we have Chris Strong in the house, and Chris said hi, Eugene and Charlene. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you. And Chris is tuning in from LinkedIn Live, right? So we welcome Chris. I hope that this has been a beneficial session so far. So if you're just tuning in, we are on Biz Hot Seat here, and Charlene Ng, which is a life coach, is on the hot seat, and we just started with the first question. Right, there's more to come. Right, so Charlene, this is my own personal pet topic. Like for example, um, people seek coaching, right? Is it because
Ah.
like for example, a guy is really interested in this girl, that he wants to find some technique, he want to try to ask her out, so he has a problem, he look for coaches, or is it like this person is very depressive, then only the depressive people need coaching, or how do I know, like, when does one need a coach, is it when you're in problems, or is it when you are when life is everything rosy, you don't need a coach, the coach is only need to solve problem, debug your life.
Right. That's a very good questions. Maybe I want to address this in something that is relatable to everyone. You eat every day, right, Eugene? Right.
Yes.
You eat every day, and then do you eat? Sometimes you eat junk food and then eat until you fall sick. That kind, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then or you eat something like really heaty and then eat until you really fall sick, and that is when the downtime happens. And sometimes you are just like in a so motivated stage that, oh my god, I want to eat good food, and then you find that yourself is actually in the pink of health, and you are like thriving, you have lots of energy to do the work, right? In coaching, it is also the same. When we are dealing with some shit in our life, or some difficult moments in our life, or or not, maybe we are dealing with some challenges. I will call it the challenges rather than in the depressive mode. Yeah, and the challenges got us into a state that we do not know how to get out, right? Like you are addicted to the bag of potato chip and you just keep eating and keep eating. Maybe one more bag, one bag wouldn't cost much things. And then you realize that I ate 3 bags of potato chip in that 3 hours of Netflix show, right? How would
Yes.
that turn out to be in your health? It is the same thing if you do not work towards the changes in your life to get a better life that you want. And you know what's a problem. And a lot of people, actually a lot of my clients as well says that I procrastinate, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. My old habit is actually getting to me, what I should do, huh? And then and this kind of thing is like, you know what you need to do, but you're not doing it. You know the
Yes.
potato is not good for you, but you still keep eating it. Why? It feels good,
Yes.
right?
Yes. It
Yeah.
feels good.
And there is a lot of psychological aspect behind why people are seeking that feel good feeling of not doing anything, right?
And yeah,
And we
that's
address all those things in the coaching sessions, provided the person is still not too depressed. I would say that if it's a too depressed state that you may be having some thoughts that is endanger yourself, I will definitely encourage you to seek medical professions to actually sort out that first. I'm talking about typical, normal, healthy people that wants to work on something and they find it challenging. They want to work on things like, for example, okay, let's speak about the clients that I coach. I coach working professions who are in the senior management level and above for companies and also for entrepreneurs to really reach the next height in their life. And they are facing challenges. And the working professions, usually they come to me like, hey, I just got promoted. I don't know how to handle my team. Hey, I just got this new intern. Generation gap, millennials. How do I speak to them? They can't listen. They don't know my lingo. I don't know their lingo. Do I need to be
yeah.
like put down myself that low to speak to them? How do I tune them up a little bit to speak my my level? So
Generation
all these
gap.
challenges in terms of people to people relationship actually jeopardize how we are going to perform in the goals that we say we want to have. I want that role in the company. I want to be a director. I want to be a VP. I want to be in the CXO level. And I want to earn 7-digit income for entrepreneurs, for business owner. And how do we actually overcome the fear, the anxiety, and also the stress moments in life, which will never stop? And how do we write on that to actually work on the goals itself, right? Someone
Yes.
asked a question. Yeah.
And I really like the way Chris puts it, that perhaps the consideration is as a starting point of somebody needing coaching is anyone that is curious to learn and further improve themselves,
Yeah.
probably. And also the fact that the person has to be coachable, that's for
Yeah.
sure,
Yes.
right? He cannot be coming in into the session resistive, very angry and things like that. So I think uh it's not a coach can solve anything, like what you say. If a person really feels depressive,
Yeah.
they need to seek to see a psychologist and
Yeah.
even some medical help. If the person is what we term as uncoachable, as in there's not
Yeah.
willing to try new stuff, then I think that is something that the person needs to do a lot of self-reflection, right?
Yes, correct. Can I address on this
Sure. No worries.
coachability part, which I find it really essential over here. See, a lot of us wanting to improve ourselves. We talk about self-development, personal development, all the courses that we attend, and then all these things,
Yeah.
right? And then all the motivational speaking events that you go to, and then you got a hype out of it. And the questions that I want to ask for those who are tuning in is, how much have you gotten out from those sessions, or even you have hired a coach before, and how much have you progressed from that stage where you started to look for a coach? And it has not it a coach client relationship has a lot to do with both parties. It is not that the client comes to me that and then they cross their arm and says that, you tell me what I should do, and then I think I will get the goal, right? If you cannot deliver, so it's your fault. So it is that there's a lot of a mindset shift for someone who is willing to surrender to the process, right? There is a reason why you are connected with a coach, and we can talk a little bit more about that later on in how to choose the best coach. And when you are finding a coach, it is not in the coach positions to do the work for you. I don't live your life. If you decided to eat that bag of potato chip, go ahead. Nobody can stop you, right? And if you decided to think about whether you want to eat that potato chip or not, right? Thinking about your problems, really taking a look at what is really, really the root cause of the surface problem. I think getting a coach to help you to resolve that with your willingness, that will actually bring you to the next stage of life. And this is when we say the personal development will get a +1, right? Next level, basically.
Yeah, and that's for sure, right? And if we're talking about coachability, if the person is resistive
Mm,
and all the time, there's not much progress that we can do, because the person is always taking 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, right? So that's the issue, I suppose, right?
yeah, that's right, that's right. So yeah, so there's a lot of things that is when people come over here and look for help, and you also have to assess, when you're seeking for help, are you willing to receive the help? This is really important, because if you come in with a perspective of like the coach can do anything, everything for you, it's a bit of the some mindset you need to be fixed there, and a coaching session can fix that if you are willing to do that. Yeah.
That's for sure, right? So
Mm-mm.
thanks. For those of you who have just joined in, this is Biz Hot Seat with Charlene Ng, our life coach. And if you really find what we are chatting so far beneficial, we would appreciate that you can like, comment and share, so that with the engagement, the algorithms across Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn will reach out to more people, so that our podcast can be reached out to more, right? And right now we come to a little bit of a spicy question. And the spicy question is like, what is one commonly held belief that you are passionately disagreeing on?
Wow, a lot.
Yes.
Let me think about one. Yeah.
Yes. Or you can say
um
two lah.
okay. I think one common belief that I passionately disagree is when it comes to coaching, a lot of people always see, I mean, always see this profession as someone that you can throw a lot of, things on, like your unhappiness and and your things, and then and about all your complaints of the day, right? To do. And it is strangely to hear that, because I find that amazing when people are thinking about that, is because you see, when when I as a coach wants to help, it's actually it is a relationship built there, right? Then, and there's a lot of trust, and there's a lot of credibility and reliability that one has when it comes to me for. And when that is established, conversations will flow. I'm not saying that they will have bad days and all these things, but that is inside the coaching session. But before the coaching session happens, there's a lot of misconception. Is yeah, I can just find you to talk anything that I want, right?
and and
And
and and,
not
and that is very
progressive.
true, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that, human being wants to say things, right? They want to be seen and be heard. But the key essential thing is, when they are seeking coaches with that intention of like, I want to complain to my coach about a lot of things in my life, that is not going to help this person to progress, to transform, to actually to see what is actually going on in his or her life. Yeah, right. So this perspective, I would like to, like, for those people who are seeking out for coaching, for help, take a look at a few things that why are you seeking a coach for, right? What do you need? What is a goal that you want to attain when you're seeking out for a coach? Yeah. So that is a few key essential things that I felt that it will help. Yeah, when I needed to explain this part. Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? There's a lot of misconception that the coach is somewhat like, if I may draw a parallel, a coach is somewhat like an IT expert. So my office network, my internet cannot work, the coach will come in and just just solve it. So it's very solutional based. But a lot of people don't realize that good coaches are actually asking you the questions, and you yourself derive with the solution, not the coach giving you the solution. And
Yes.
and that when a coachee realizes the solution, that's way more powerful, because the coachee will be really self-motivated from within to say that, okay, let's do this. I'm so pumped up because I just attended a 2 days career coaching program.
Oh, nice, nice. Good for you. Yes, you put out a really good point there, Eugene, because when there is an internal motivation that is arising from the coachee itself, and it indeed will bring the coachee to the next level, right? We're talking about transformation work here. And if there is a lot of things that the coachee is unwilling to see, that is not really going to help them that much, basically. So the point that I hear just now was, I like it when you say that the coachee is actually going to be beneficial and motivate enough to do the work itself, right? And I also want to add on that. Essentially, the coachee is going to live their life on their own, right? When I actually go through a coaching program with my client, essentially I want them to be independent, to be able to learn the life skill so that they can actually deal with that nagging voice in them. I call it the inner demon, and how to be friend with that. Those inner demons are things like procrastination, perfectionism, assumptions, self-esteem problem, confidence, and yeah, like all these things are quite common, which I find that happening in all my clients and in
Right.
many aspects of their life. Yeah.
So again, at this point in time, if you are watching us live, this is Biz Hot Seat, and perhaps you can put down one comment on what so far have learned, or what have you realized, one learning point so far. And as we dialogue along, if you have questions, do place it, and we will address it along the way of the live, right? So now comes to my very favorite question, right, which is, now there's this therapist, counselor, and coach. Are they good friends that go go to a pub and then have coffee and food together, right? What are the differences between, like, therapist, counselor, and coach? Perhaps you can enlighten the
Really,
audience.
really good and really common, and that is a very first thing normally people will ask, what's the difference between you, this and that. And I would like to use an one or two example to that I recently encountered. um I met someone recently, and then she mentioned that, before things get turned bad, until you really need to see a psychiatric for a mental health problem, and if you have seen the sign of your challenges and of your possibly that you can go into a really bad shape, depression or whatever, probably a coach can help, right? Think about that. And if you are seeking for a very specific solution based kinds of things, for example, counselor for counseling, like there are many counselors for career counseling, marriage counseling, and parenting counseling, right? So we know that counselors are around, and psychotherapists are around too, right? So this person, when she shared with me about that leveling, so it got me to think, all right, so if it's not too much of a mentally or medical serious problem, yeah, we coaches probably can help. And we actually, I actually abide to certain sets of ethical guidelines as well through ICF, and it helps me to filter out, who I can coach and who I can't coach. And recently, I received a case as well. Mm, I would say that mentally challenged, and also there is endangerment kinds of activities that that person can inflict to themselves. And then I ended up have to refer out to a psychotherapist, because that is a real profession that can help that person. So I would say that really depends on what do you need. And therapists and counselors, usually they go by a set of practices, coaches as well, right? And speak to the professions and see whether that particular service is actually of your choice at the stage of your life, and depending on what you need most at that point of time, right? Your gut
Right.
feeling will tell you that. Yeah.
Right, and I like the way Chris puts it. Right, it's important that coachee has an open mind when seeking help, right? Because if you are resistive and you are like my way is the right way. The coach is wrong and telling me wrong and all that, and that will be an issue, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So how does one know actually that he or she needs coaching? Let's say for example.
Um, I don't speak for other coaches, right? Different coaches has different types of niche and the things that they teach. For me, myself, if you are in the position whereby you want to thrive in your life and you do not know where you want to go, I would call this kind of person is like you kind of like in the journey of seeking a life purpose. Yes, coaching definitely can help, and I encourage you to come over and speak to me about that to see whether we can actually help, right? It is not like, for example, buying a meal, right? And you want to eat certain types of category of meal, and it is best you can actually come forward and speak to a coach to see whether that suits for you. The second types of the person that I usually coach are the working professions who are really having a lot of issues within the workspace, right? How do I lead my team? How do I resolve the workplace conflict? How do I get a better relationship with people around me, including my spouse, my children, my boss, and then my subordinates, and all this, right? And how do
Yes.
I, how do I achieve my goals of X dollars of income? In my business, for example, and especially for those aspiring business owners or entrepreneurs who are just starting out, there is a lot of adjustment that needed to do, and also mindset adjustment and your physical and physiological adjustment, so that you can actually get the results that you want. Because when I coach, I look at the person as a whole. If one part of your life is not working, and the rest of your part of your life is going to fall apart as well. And why I pick up this relationship topic just now earlier on is we needed to be with people, and that is the basis of human being, right? And if you cannot get along with people, not even your clients or maybe your business associates or maybe your colleagues or your boss or your teams, nothing is going to work, because a lot of things is based on relationship, and that is only when possibilities can open up. And that's when people will start to um, get influence and get your leadership, and also get what you want to convey to others, right? So this is very, very essential. Fix that relationship in your life, and the quality of your life will definitely increase. Yeah.
Yes, so I like it the way that you say that fix and then the quality of life will really increase. And let's talk about effective success coaching. How does that look like?
There's two action words over here. One is effective and success, right? And effectiveness comes when one has practiced enough, when on something that you're working on. For example, if you're saying that you want to lose weight, and when you're losing weight, you got to be effective in doing some adjustment in life. It's either exercise or nutritious or many other combinations of things. When you're talking about you want to earn certain number of income, if you are a business professions, business owner, and you got to do a certain sets of activity. And if you are consistent, if you're committed first, and then you're consistent in doing it, and that is when the success will come. The effectiveness comes when you are already kind of successfully execute the sets of actions that you needed for you to work towards the success. So
Right.
in the coaching context itself, we are me as a coach is or coaches, right? We are journeying with you in the process of that effectiveness fine tuning and fine tuning and fine tuning. Yeah.
Right, right. So that's really very good advice, right? So what about, you know, what is one lesson that your, you know, your previous job has really taught you and has really is currently helping you in maybe providing a more effective coaching to all your clients, let's say, for example.
I would say listening. Listening, you know, listening is not just you listen in and then you process it logically. Sometimes what to me listening comes from different, it's through senses, through different senses. When I listen, I'm looking at you and I'm processing a lot of information from visual cue, from bodily sensations, from hearing, from what am I, you know, maybe smelling in the air. Is it dense? Is it like this person is stressed or not? Right. And all these informations are able to tell us a lot of things about the other person. So listening skill is a very trained, can be trained. And unfortunately, a lot of us are not a good listeners, including myself in the past. And right now, I am still processing and also progressing in the listening arena when I am actually coaching or even simple, typical conversations in the day-to-day life with your family. Yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Right. So if you are just tuning in, this is welcome to Biz Hot Seat, and the person in the hot seat here is Charlene Ng, a life coach. And if you have been watching our podcast so far, we would like you to comment one useful thing that you have learned so far. And you know, we've come to the juicy part of the questions, and these are the last couple of few questions that we're gonna ask that we're really gonna grill Charlene, and perhaps we will walk away with value, and that's what we want to aim for this podcast. And one of the questions is really behind the shoulder, and I'm gonna ask you, like, how do you keep your practice current?
Don't stop coaching, continue to use the coaching tool. That's one way. And then I also joined a couple of coaches associations, community masterminds to keep the practice going, because as a coach, if we don't work on ourselves, we can't work with our clients, because if our client is also a mirror of a reflections of who am I, essentially, right? And there's a saying that you coach and you teach the things that you needed the most. And I find it really true and amazing. Every single time I receive a client, and then there's something in my life is actually also ongoing in a similar fashions. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but that allows me to, you know, also reflect back on myself. What do I need to work on? And we are human being. We constantly evolved. I don't believe in coaches who doesn't work on themselves and they continue to coach clients. That actually will put a kind of like a limiter in their coaching ability, right? So constantly working on myself and then constantly staying updated with all the different kinds of coaching. Well, coaching tool is one coaching tool. It's more about constantly getting myself out there to use the coaching tools that I have when I even speak to people. Yeah.
And I also understand that the Chinese word for coach is what is it again?
导
Chinese?
师，导
No,
师
there's a what lian Tuan
练
Lian, is it? Or something. I can't remember.
锻炼 is the what is that?
No.
Practice.
It is and I think that the Chinese word here simply means that when you teach, you learn as well, right? So there is kind of a double meaning, and this is very true because I myself is a digital marketing trainer and coach as well. The more I teach, like what you see, I agree. The only way to keep your practice current is to continue teaching, and to continue teaching, you become sharper in the questions you ask. You become sharper in assessing the situation and being able to guide the person towards a more meaningful outcome, right? That's
Yes,
for sure.
that's
And
right.
now also
Yeah,
what we're gonna ask is, now you being a coach, do you have a coach?
of course. I can't see my own blind spot. That is fact. And I believe you can't see your own blind spot as well. Even though you say you know, what have you done about that? So
Yes.
there's a part that as a coach, I call it the calling out. What is the fact for you, right? And my coaches do the same thing for me as well. And I
Yes.
am totally surrendering to the process, and then to really look into my inner world, my own inner strength, what is going on there. Right?
Right.
It
Right.
cannot be suddenly I got triggered and I got angry for certain things for no reason. Every single time when people get triggered, look yourself first. That the trigger has nothing to do with the person who make you angry or
Yes.
who make you frustrated. Was in you that you got triggered, you got frustration, right? And if you can't see that, and when awareness can't be formed, and it's only come from usually for myself, it comes from my coaches, and it comes from the person who really knows me well, who is daring to call me out, says that Charlene, you're behaving this way. What's going on? My
Right.
coaches does the same thing to me
And
too.
and sometimes the coaching can come from fellow peers as well, right? Fellow coaches, where you team up together, you work on projects together, and you also reflect each other as well,
Yes, that's
right?
right. That's why the mastermind group that I'm with is really, really important. Yeah.
And we like to welcome Zil Zainuddin, that
Hi,
is tuning
Zio.
in from YouTube. Hi, Zil. And what he says is, listen is a very important skill to achieve success in business and life. And yes, we've come to the last two questions, the very interesting last two questions. And the last two questions, the first question is, obviously we have a lot of entrepreneurs in our midst, right? And this is Biz Hot Seat, where we put business people in the hot seat. And one of the hot seat questions that we're going to ask you is, what is your favorite productivity hack for entrepreneurs? I know that's a big one.
It's a big one. And my favorite one for this hack is find an accountability partner who can pace with you at your pace. If you get what I mean. And if you are paced at the level of excellency, you find a productive, if you find the accountability partner that can pace with you at the same level. And the accountability partner may have some similarity in terms of like what you need and what the person need is actually quite similar, and then both or from a group of people can actually help you to excel. Otherwise, being an entrepreneur is a very lonely journey. Being a coach is also being a very lonely journey, especially independent coach like myself. And I find that really useful when I have my own accountability partner to work with me on a daily basis about the mundane tasks that I have to do sometimes, right? And I have my own accountability partner, and we meet every day on the weekday for half an hour just to sort out things that the person's business need to do, and my own business that I needed to do. Yeah.
And
So
and 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 what you say is true, right, Charlene, about accountability partner. Like, for example, we are co-hosts of this podcast, and I really appreciate you being my accountability partner to kind of say that, hey, we need to plan this ahead and things like that. And that really it didn't dawn on me. So I am unconsciously being life coached by you, right? And I really really appreciate that, right? And yes, hello Zil. Yes, hi. And now come to the last question and the most important question that we have audience tuning here. What is your formula for success?
Oh, I love this question.
Yes.
I just wrote about something. It's not published yet in my social media. It is all about courage and the commitment. Why courage is because when we take this one step forward, and then that is when the changes will start, right? The next step is actually commitment. And subsequently, yes, one more C is actually consistency. That's when success will come. Any part of this missing, it will not make you to the next stage, right? However small stage it is. Because when you have the courage and you make the commitment and you promise yourself you're going to be, going through that whatever ups and down, journeying through it and consistently doing the work, even though it's damn boring, even though it's mundane, and you know the work works, then you just have to do it, right? It's all about essentially how to optimize later on when you have the consistent results. And that's when success comes. Success is not a stage, success is a journey, right? And that is when we journeying through in our lifetime, achieving things that matters to us. Yeah.
And I like it. You say that success is a journey, right? So if I may draw a parallel, for example, if a snowball is on top of a mountain, the
Mm,
snowball won't walk until the base of the mountain. So somebody has to give the snowball a push, and that
yeah.
is accountability partner. And I really agree with Zil Zainuddin that, and yes, an accountability partner is very effective in whatever that we want to do, and it helps our dream keep rolling down towards our destination that we want to.
Mm.
You just need sometimes that's one person to give you a kick in the butt. and, and, and that's for sure, right? That's really
That's
right.
what coaches do.
Yes, and that's why we have this robust discussion so that everybody can benefit from this, right? So, do we have any other questions? This is a rare opportunity that you have Charlene online. Come on, guys, if you want to really benefit from this, let's have some questions. You can type the questions from wherever you are tuning in, and we will flash it and we'll address a couple of questions, right? So yes, and we have Friedrich, Friedrich Lim. Yeah, he said, "Got to do the work, man. Yeah, you
Yeah,
really got to do the work, right? If not, then if you don't do the work, then it remains a dream. It remains an idea,
yes,
right? And
yeah.
and that's a fact or a fact of life, right? So, do we have any questions from anybody? We will just
Can I
wait a
address
couple of
on
minutes.
this do the
Sure.
work point because I have this very strong belief in how to do the work will be determine how would you get the success they want, because a lot of people not knowing why they are doing the work and they blindly doing the work and ended up wasted a lot of time and resources and energy in doing the work that they are not feeling aligned with, right? There's a lot of times when I coach, I emphasize a lot on congruency a lot. When we are not congruent from head to the heart space and also the body space, and the work that we do will not get us uh, very far, right? Halfway, you may want to give up because you don't feel aligned to the work that they were doing, right? So do the work is really like have to see whether you are really be congruent to yourself, that your heart and your head is aligned, right? You may be hearing someone may have said that I know I'm supposed to do, but my heart doesn't feel like doing it. I do because of this, and reasons. And that actually cause the person feel really agony when they are doing the work, right? So essentially, when we do the work, we want to do it wholeheartedly with mindfulness and also whole body fulnessly. Yeah.
Yes. And I agree with you that you really have to be immersed when you're doing the work, so that in order to have like effective successful coaching, because the coach can only do so much, huh? The coach is not the one that's gonna execute the thing, not gonna be the one that helps you program this software and things like that. But she can help you to say to realize that this is the direction that you need to take, but you still need to do the work, right?
Yes,
Unfortunately,
correct.
right?
And if you found a coach that is working for you, most likely the coach is asking the right question for you, even though it's
Yes.
really painful sometimes. Sometimes may be challenging to even answer some questions that you may or may not know about that. And then and you just have to trust the process. If you trust the coach, and trust
And
the coach.
we have a very good question, and I think Zeal reads my mind, because that question immediately came to my mind as well. Zil Zainuddin from YouTube. How do you deal with people who do not want to do the work? I think this is an interesting one.
It's interesting, right? I would my inclination is going towards like why the person doesn't want to do the work, right? This is a very hypothetical question that I do not have a client here, and I'm gonna just go through what's in my mind right now. When I see this question just now, I was thinking, why this person doesn't want to do the work. Is there something going on with this person? What's happening in his or her life at this point of time that doesn't allow him or her not doing the work, right? For example, something emergency happened at home, sickness, or suddenly fall ill for some reasons, and then I would question, what is important for this person right now at this point of time. Instead of working on the goal, why don't we focus? If let's just say it's a sickness or illness, right? Maybe a down with 2 weeks of flu, for example. Should we just focus more on like full recovery, right? If you recover from the flu, isn't that easier? You can also pick up back on where you left off, like maybe 2 weeks ago, about your work, right? So it's all about what this person need at that point of time. If this person is genuinely like not doing the work, and then nothing happening in life, nothing serious, and then healthy and everything is fine, but just not doing the work, and then my mind will just go into, okay, the person may be having some challenges, some internal blockage. Remember the inner demon that I mentioned? What's going on there? So it's a coach's responsibility or to ask the right question to find out, right? And it relates back to how willing is this person to look into that side of him or herself.
And I
And
think
if
as a coach, right, when you ask questions, you are actually peeling one layer of the onion,
oh, correct, correct.
and more, more questions, you are peeling more. Sometimes initially the person is not comfortable, but
Yeah,
as what you say, when you are coaching, you are building a relationship. People gets
yeah,
comfortable. People see the chemistry of this coach, that this coach is really understanding. The coach is asking question, not penalizing me, right? And similarly, right, I took a trainer certification course last month, and basically one of our classmates did not submit the assignment. So
mm,
everybody in the cohort was wondering, is this guy the problem child, right? That intentionally doesn't want to submit. But then we realized that circumstances, his whole family got COVID, and he was like really down, and he was not emotionally equipped to submit the assignment at that point in time, at that timeline. So I do agree that this question can't really be addressed directly. Of course, when through the questions that we ask, then we can identify this guy is really very resistive and things like that. These are what we term as somewhat almost classified as non-coachable, right? And non-coachable, perhaps they have inner issues, like what you say. They might need to go for a to see a psychiatrist, or psychologist, or something like that, to solve that underlying issues first, before
yeah.
they can actually continue with
Correct.
coaching.
I,
Yeah,
I think I think in a, essentially we don't judge so much in terms of how the client wants to live their life, right? I respect it fully in terms of their own choice and decisions. Ultimately, they have to deal with the consequences of all the decisions that they make, right? But speaking about peeling onion, can I share a little bit more about the
sure.
insight of how to peel onion properly so that the coaches don't cry yourself at the end of the day because you peel the wrong side, you felt stuck and you don't know how to help the client, and then you yourself got stuck there and the client is like going downhill and you don't know how to continue conversation, right? I believe for those people who have been into coaching conversations, maybe you are in that stage or you have been in that state before, right? So onion is like a ball, right? So we are peeling layer by layer, layer by layer. But some of the I know some coaches, they just chop the onion and then let the aroma comes out. They themselves want to feel like crying. And I mean, few years ago when I was a new coach, and then and when you chop the onion too fast, first the client may not be able to get you. What are you trying to say? You know, what do you mean? And the resistance level will get up, right? Very fast. No, this is not who I am, right? You know what he's trying to say? You're saying that I'm actually like that? No, I'm not like that, right? So the client will have a very high resistance. The secondly, if you chop the onion too fast, the questions um it will not give the client any insightful thoughts about themselves. It doesn't create awareness, right? It wasted the time, it wasted the energy that you are trying to, you know, pop the question out, right? So there's a one keyword that I like is gradient. Right. Recently, I was giving a speech for the Singapore the what's that, the Association Professional Trainers of Singapore, and I
Yes.
talk about how to engage people online, right? I talk about this gradient. You gotta go layer by layer, right? We're talking about onion. So what would be the first question that you ask the client that is easy for him or her to start to open up, right? And it's like dating, ma, right? When you just you ask me a questions about this boy and a girl, and then if the boy wants to chase a girl, and then it's like I don't know what to do. Ask her out for a date. After the date, get to know her. And then after get to know her, maybe you want to decide whether to go ahead with the relationship or not. Right? You don't straight away want to get married with a girl for the first sight of when you see
Yeah,
her.
that's for sure.
So there's a process to a lot of things. Same thing for in life as well. There's process to all the things, right? It is part of the ecosystem, it's part of the system, and it's part of the cycle as well. And you can accelerate the cycle with someone help like a coach, right? Or you can do it yourself, fine. Yeah, right? It just take a little bit more bumps here and there and more falling down moments, right? So yeah, peel the onion
Yes.
layer by layer. Don't go and chop it, otherwise the coach will be the one who is crying first.
Do the work and be willing to be peeled by the coach. I
Yes,
think that
I
is
love that. Yes.
that is the parting words, right? And yes, we have reached almost the hour mark. But before we go, we have exciting news for you on this podcast of Biz Hot Seat. A lot of things are brewing. So I'll let Charlene let you in on a little bit of secret about what we are planning ahead for the Biz Hot Seat podcast. Over to you, Charlene.
Right. Thank you, Eugene. I think Eugene just now mentioned a little bit earlier on in the middle of the session, saying that, you know, both of us, first time in this podcast show, and we decided to partner, and then we decided to find each other's story. Basically, just that, just to get to know you a little bit better, right? And we hope to see more business owner, entrepreneurs, or even some of the working professions to be on board in this seat here with us, have a chit chat, and then have the audience to know a little bit more about your professions, your story, and also share with us what is the, you know, the secret tips and in your industry and your professions. That is how we want to, you know, educate the public over here who is tuning in first time seeing us, know a little bit more about different professions. Yeah, that is that's all I can say for now. And this thing will keep rolling, and we are going to have our next speaker that we're going to announce in our social media soon. Follow us in YouTube, LinkedIn, where else? Facebook. Yes.
Yes, and if you really like what we are doing, we so far have this is actually the second episode. The first episode is on the YouTube as well. You can access the first episode and the second episode replay, especially if you tune in late at Biz Hot Seat. That is BizHotSeat.com. And once you go there, you will immediately be brought to the YouTube channel. And if you really like, we will appreciate if you can like, comment, and share our video on all your social media. Tag some of your friends so that more people can benefit from this, and so that we feel inspired when we see a lot more views, and and that really keep us going, right? There's no monetary here, right? Yeah. And yeah, we have a compliment from Zil. Zil, thanks for watching. Zil Zainuddin, and thank you for sharing. Great job. Thank you, Zil. Right. Thanks so much. Yeah, Charlene. So any words to spice up? You do, and I'll just do, and we end the live. Yeah.
Yeah, I have this quote that I've prepared before I join into this today's streaming. There is this quote that I love it from Brene Brown. She says that, when we have the courage to walk into our story and own it, we get to write the ending. So I encourage you guys to join the Biz Hot Seat with us in the next few episodes. For those who are super interested and want to appear in the third episode, come and approach us, and then we'll talk more about that, right? So have the courage to walk into your own story, own it, and flourish in your business.
And my last words will be: do the work and be allowed to be peeled like an onion. And thank you very much. This is Eugene and
And it's Charlene
Charlene.
Ng. Yeah. Okay.
And
Thank you
we
for watching.
are,
You're
yes,
from the
we are on Biz Hot Seat, and we'll be signing off right now. Take care.